Tetsuo Kirishima was born Byambuchun Hagwasulen on April 24, 1996, in Mongolia's Dornod region. As with sumo senior Ichinojo, his father was a nomad, and his physical prowess was nurtured through aiding that father with his work. In order to properly care for a widely dispersed flock of sheep, Byambuchun would often cover 30 kilometers a day on horseback and carry heavy buckets of water back from the well, dropping his hips sumo style. After starting off with judo at the club Hoshoryu would later join, he first set foot in Japan at the age of 18, invited by a family friend to try out at Michinoku stable. Despite weighing only 70 kilos, he impressed with his sumo aptitude, which Master Michinoku voted the best among the 5 lads who came. Michinoku was originally of the mind not to recruit from overseas, as he doubted his own ability to coach across language barriers. The former Hakuba had only joined his fold after learning plenty of Japanese at another sumo stable. But as certain stable backers were so insistent, Michinoku took Byambuchun on in one of his best ever moves. The teenager also best fitted the mould of the type of lad to succeed, the one determined to build a better life for his parents, and invite them over to Japan to share in his success. "But you must do exactly what I say," said the veteran master and ex-ozeki. "Disregard that, and you're out." Byambuchun would debut in May 2015, alongside uni graduate Chionomi, and 2 months after these 3 men with whom he'd commute to sumo school. There on the practice dohyos, despite his lack of sumo grounding, he would put up exceptional fights. To the point, Master Michinoku opined, "Even if I say nothing at all, he'll surely make it to Division 1, and possibly even Sanyaku." The master therefore conferred the ring name Kiribayama upon him, the first part from his own wrestling name, the last part combining references to horse riding on Mongolian steppes, and the stable group's founding father, Yokozuna Futabayama. Expectation abounded. After strolling his way through Divisions 6 and 5, Kiribayama broke out with a 7-0 title win in the 4th tier that November. He was now 20 kilos heavier, thanks to 800-gram helpings of steak, which covered for the fact he disliked both fish and vegetables. But just as wins over giants Shoketsu and Komanokuni set him up for a 3rd-tier career high, Kiribayama suffered a partial MCL tear of the right knee in training, and sat out July of 2016. The specialist surgeon, however, was astonished by his recovery speed, concluding, "There must be something genetic, because that is just not normal." Before long, Kiribayama was back in Division 3 and beating the likes of Takakento, Kizaki thrice, Toyonoshima, Tochimaru, Akiseyama, and Yago. But defeat to Mitoryu on day 1 of September 2017 triggered his 2nd career dropout. His left hand's little finger clearly not recovered from a midsummer operation. He was back with a vengeance 2 months later, dropping only his final bout, then went one better the following May when claiming the 3rd-tier honours. His first tilt at a salary brought wins over these 3 future stars, but an agonising match 7 defeat to Chionomi from pre-sumo class. The 3rd time, though, was indeed the charm, as he brushed off defeat to Gagamaru to claim 4 bouts in a row, including one off nemesis Akua, to achieve his stable's first salaried promotion since Kirinowaka in 2008. After finally carrying out his promise of returning to Mongolia once he'd reached salaried level, Kiribayama made his salaried mark with some lively throwing techniques, posting 3 successive winning scores, then receiving a gift from the Sumo gods, the transfer of Yokozuna Kakuryu to Michinoku's stable. Within weeks he was posting 11-4 and breaching Division 1, thanks in part to gaining 10 kilos through upping rice intake by 50% under Kakuryu's direct gaze. His January 2020 top flight bow yielded 11 more wins and a Fighting Spirit prize. A shoulder injury mid-September that year might have derailed a lesser man, but the Misty Horse Mountain boldly returned for the final 3 matches and grittily won them all. A disastrous November then ensued, his injury perhaps flaring up again, but come the December All-Stables practice, which saw him present on every day and advertised his work rate and desire, he seemed well-oiled again. What followed was a year of single-digit scores amid the retirement of Kakuryu, though not without significant scalps. Asanoyama beaten twice, Shodai and Takakeisho each conquered once, and 4 bouts evenly shared with judo club colleague Ho Shoryu. November 2021 saw him debut at Komusubi, while March and May of the following year brought his first successive double-digit scores in the elite division, though still no win over Teruno Fuji. He also earned the distinction of first man to beat new ozeki Mitakeumi. Further wins over Takakeisho and Shodai helped him reclaim Saiyaku rank in July, at which he posted his first winning score 2 months later, beating all 3 ozeki en route, but still losing to Teruno Fuji. As 2023 broke in, all arrows were pointing to his best sumo year yet. It began with an eye-catching entrance as joint runner-up in January, then continued with the first ever Emperor's Cup in March, gained by straight wins over Daieisho on day 15. "My mother says I always seem to lose when she watches," he revealed, "and it seems the bug bit my father too. Neither of them could watch this win." He then bounced into May and claimed 11 from his first 13 to seal ozeki promotion in time for Kakuryu's retirement event, at which he was cheered to the rafters under his new name of Kirishima, inherited from his master. He then headed home to Mongolia for the first time in 4 years, and indulged in days of revelry, with hundreds of people packing out even most rural facilities. Having vowed to train yet harder so as not to sully Ozeki's name, workaholic Kirishima hurt his right elbow just days before July, and missed the opening part of that meet, endangering his rank from the off. He was the first new ozeki in Pro Sumo's storied existence to absent himself from his first bout. He did what was needed to steady the ship in September, then produced in November his most dominant display, romping to Cup number 2 with a score of 13-2. At the time he was tipped to reign supreme for the next half-decade and more, and raced to 11 wins from his first 13 in January, for which he'd warmed up with real Yokozuna contender fervour. Alas, a penultimate day slip-up to improved Kotonowaka, and another setback to Teruno Fuji robbed him of his best chance yet to grace Sumo's highest rank, something he'd silently aimed to do before his first master retired. Under new master Kakuryu, he would then sensationally lose his ozeki status due to persistent cervical spine issues, as of now only the second Mongolian to fall from the second rank. His sidestep of Ono Sato was widely panned that September, but he still won 12 other bouts to suggest he was well on the mend. An 11-4 in the January of 2025 earned him the Fighting Spirit Award his September sidestep had cost him, and a similar score in May netted him the prize for technique. With Christmas bearing down on us, please can we have a fit Kirishima?